run through the.
Tracy's trying to kick us out.
Good.
So,
Yeah, so we'll just hear back, I guess, from them. Any public information or comment?
I did see Chuck Fromiller, in town, and said he talked to John about like a new business application, for his, building up there. And so that's just a new business application, right, John?
Yeah, they'd be, they'd be renting an office space from him, but it is a business that will have a sign by the road, so they have to come before the board for a new business.
Yeah. And so, and that's just the, is that application online? He asked me that.
Yeah, he asked me that, and I've already told him.
It was online,
Yeah.
it is online, okay. Yeah.
I have a question about roads being posted recently. And since then, if, for example, roads are posted and then the power company comes in to take a tree down and uses a huge crane and another huge truck and wrecks someone's driveway or right of way, is there any recourse for that?
Well, I don't really think that's a planning board meeting question, but it's
Okay.
a question for the road commissioner.
Okay, alright, that's great. I don't have anything else.
that's a good question for the road commissioner. But there are, I mean, it is posted. What's that? Is it 15 tons?
Road commissioner, I don't know, it's not,
Yeah, it
it's
was,
not my wheelhouse.
it was in the, it was in your notes that you'd sent out, Tracy, you know, what the tonnage was, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
I think it's 10,000.
Okay.
Okay, what else?
Anything else tonight?
And I guess Max is gonna come back at some point, does anybody know? Does anybody,
It'll be a while.
it'll be a while,
Mhm.
okay. Max is helping us change the ordinance. I can't remember Max's last name. Upton?
Is there anything pending before the board right now for changes that we should work on in the ordinance?
I think Max has them all.
Yeah,
I don't
Okay.
remember what
we're
they
ready
all
to
are.
meet with him.
Yeah.
And I think the last meeting was canceled for, something happened with the last meeting.
Right,
with him.
I can't remember now what it was.
Yeah. So I guess we just have to get that on the books.
So you can let us know, Tracy, when
Mhm.
Max.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be a while,
Just because he's busy with other things?
yes.
When's the last time the ordinance was updated? It says here it was amended last year. Is he doing a lot of changes?
Mhm.
Yeah. We got a huge
It's
list.
my first meeting.
No, you're good. Yeah,
I'm
a
getting
lot
caught
of
up.
extra meetings.
I'm getting caught up.
Yeah.
Okay,
And as I explained to you when I handed you that book, it needs a lot of work,
okay,
and that's the work that they're talking about.
okay.
So he's gonna reformat everything and do a bunch of stuff.
Typically,
think
we set an
this-
extra meeting to do it.
Yeah. I think though there's a couple things we could do without having to rewrite the whole ordinance. One is this chapter 1000 to revise the building in the shoreland area, the maximums, rather than stay with the 30%, go to the new state standard they adopted in 2015. We've been talking about it on and off for quite a few years, but I don't think we have to rewrite the whole ordinance to do that.
To pass that one, to put
Yeah,
that
to
one.
get that through. You know, if there's support. What's your feeling on that, Jonathan?
I'm, as you and I have talked about it before, Jim, I'm 100% on board with that. I think it's the way to go.
Well, the developers seem to like it, the landowners seem to like it, and it's easier to administer, so I mean, it's a win-win-win
Yeah.
if we can get some movement on that. I've asked Max about that, and I thought he had done something, but we were gonna talk about it at that meeting we missed, so that's too bad.
Should we try to push that through, without Max?
I suppose that's something to think about. This would be in the part of the ordinance that talks about the 30%. And in the shoreline overlays district.
You know what page you're on?
Well, let's see, I've gotta find it.
It's close to that. Not too far into the book there. I don't know the page number off the top of my head.
Shoreline overlay 17, I think, or 18 in this one.
17 would be,
Non-conforming.
Is that it?
No.
That's the shoreline overlay zone. Those would be,
try about page 10. Page 9, paragraph 4, non-conforming structures. Do I hear somebody in the building, or is that, did I just hear some steps, or?
that's John.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, yes, 5B. Shall not exceed 30% of the combined floor area and 30% of the volume. So, and, at some time in the past, the town had provided me a copy of the chapter 1000. And it's very similar to our ordinance. Chapter 1000 is from the Department of Environmental Protection guidelines for municipal shoreland zoning ordinances. And so I think around 2015, they added an option of certain square footages and heights depending on the distance from the water. And so they changed their rules to say you can use the 30% volume and area, or you can use these rules, you know, depending on the distance from the water and so forth. So I had gone through it, this is, I don't know, a couple of years ago now. But I'm looking at page, well, it's this chapter 1000, I guess you guys don't have that.
I have that.
I'm on page 5. Perhaps, Stacy, would it be too much to, Tracy, would it be too much to ask to get a copy of that and distribute it to the chapter 1000 to the board? That'd be too.
Right now?
No,
Oh.
in, you know, in the next couple of weeks, something before our next meeting. And then we can look at it. And did you have a thought, Jonathan, or
As far as,
you know, looking at that chapter 1000 and so forth?
just that I feel the ordinance should be changed to the,
Yeah.
you know, the upgraded version.
Yeah.
It's
more based on footprint and height.
and we'd probably only have to just reference, right, we could say any non-conforming structure would follow, like it would be a simple thing, right, delete, you know,
It
certain,
just changes the process of it.
and then follow, and then we just say, follow this section in chapter 1000,
Yeah.
right? If we wanted to adopt
Yeah.
it, like,
I think we'd be looking at around page 5 and
page 5.
in paragraph C, subparagraph C, so it'd be CC. But, it may, or just even just inserting a couple paragraphs there.
Mhm.
And it may be that we don't wanna, include all of that,
Mhm.
but enough of it so that it would allow that option
Mhm.
for the landowners to. I can take a look. I'm not sure what the schedule is. We have to have public hearings. We're gonna have any ordinance changes.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 public hearings, correct? And we have to have it so far in advance of the town meeting.
A week,
The what?
a week.
A week? Oh. So,
And there's gonna be I know there's one coming up really quick, but then there's gonna be another public meeting,
We
right?
have
When's the second one?
May, there's one in May, and then there's one in the end of, for the, resource committee, that is at the end of March.
Yeah, so in the lawyer would have to look at this too.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
we probably,
so that could. So perhaps we just put it on as an agenda item.
yeah,
And the next meeting, we could look at adding, this option of the. And I think that people like it so much, even if we had the option of 30% or the distance from the water, I think they always like to go from the distance to the water, even if we left the 30% in place. It might just be more palatable to people that they'd still have the option of the way it is today, and so there would be less perception of a change.
I'm not sure if it works that way, Jim, I think it's one or the other,
Oh, is it?
I believe so.
Okay, it's been a while since I looked at it,
Yeah,
I'd have to review it.
so it's,
We're talking about non-conforming shoreline zone properties,
right,
expansion of 30%. We're looking at
Here's one,
changing
take a
that.
look here.
right.
Down there.
Well, why don't we put it on as an agenda item the next meeting,
I think that's.
then to look at, chapter 1000, non-conforming structures. And, I remember looking at it before, and I thought there was that option, but it's been so long since I looked at it. You know,
This is by
yeah,
the
it's been out
DEP.
for, like you said, I think around 2015,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
out for a while.
okay.
so.
Main department.
Who here doesn't have a
Chapter
copy of
1000.
chapter 1000?
I got one at home.
You have one,
Yeah.
Dave has one, so just,
yeah,
I got mine at
Chris,
home.
and probably we should get one from Madeline too, so.
yeah. Okay. Was there any other ordinance changes that were impending that we should think about right now, or I don't know of any, do you?
Well, yeah, I have some in mind, but you know, I mean, it depends on, you know, what can be done before,
Yeah,
before the meeting.
yeah,
I really think we need to take a strong look at businesses and new businesses going into existing places and food trailers that come in. And,
okay,
You know, I mean, a food trailer comes into West Bath and they have to go through the entire process that any new business has to go through. Where they go through the town of Brunswick, they stop by the town office, get a permit and pay a fee. And
Yeah,
that's all they have to do. And like in Chuck's instance with this building up there, it's an existing office space that gets rented out and they have to go through the entire site plan process with the 324 by 36 plan. I just think it's very much overkill. And there should be a few categories of opening a new business in town, because they're not all this, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. And we don't really have anything for a temporary thing, I think that we should have something for a temporary business.
so that they can start business and while we review it further.
Not necessarily, I mean, it just may be that they, they're stopping in for, a 2-week type of thing, or,
Yeah.
so.
Seasonal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, it just seems like it's a lot of work for an applicant to have to do that. And obviously, every time I have to have the conversation with somebody, I get why, and that's outrageous, and I
Right.
say, well, it doesn't matter, they're all the same, so you come in, it's under that generic application, and at number 11 site plan, A, B, C, D, you gotta do all of that. And then they move out in a month, and the next person that comes in has to do it. I just have people at this point coming in and, you know, reviewing the last one and taking their information from that, because, you know, the files, they just get thicker and thicker with these places that, like Trinket Brewing with these food trucks. I mean, this will be, we have one coming up for the next month meeting. And, you know, I don't know, what's that, 4 or 5 or 3 at least?
And it's just like they're just getting, like they're changing out food truck,
Right,
basically.
and it's the same thing every time. And I'm not saying that the applicant shouldn't have to do anything.
Right.
I'm just saying that,
Right,
you know, it's a bit different than, you know, constructing a new building or,
right.
so. I just feel that that portion of the, you know, the ordinance could be updated to be a little smoother for these meetings.
So like we could research Brunswick's food truck ordinance, right?
Yeah,
And we could basically adopt, you know, we could try to adopt that same one, right?
and of course,
Yeah, look through it and,
that has, you know, as long as, you know, the board ends up reviewing it and agreeing, and then it goes to a town meeting and people agree with it. Maybe people don't agree with it, but I certainly think that it's a little over the top in some categories.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Very good.
yeah, so we could review that next.
So primarily you're talking about food trucks,
not just food trucks,
okay.
but
That sounds
businesses,
like an easier one
You know.
though, to take on.
What was the rest of it though?
like businesses like this one that Jerry mentioned about Chuck Fromiller. He has an office space as a part of his existing building that's been there for 25 years, and is a company that needs to rent out an office space. And they have to go through the entire site plan process and come in with all these big sets of plans and show you what's on the property. Well, I can already show you what's on the property, it's in the file from the last 5 people that have come through there. So
Right.
we need to know where the water line comes in for a person that's, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, and maybe it's
So-
just me, and that's fine, but
No.
that's my opinion. It's
So,
just too much.
so we need to look at where we'd insert some language about that in the ordinance?
Yeah,
And so that would be under new business, right? Under the new, and we can put it on the agenda for next week, but it'd be under the new business section.
and obviously it would be, you know, I know another thing is, in the past, you know, applications were being worked on. And remember, we developed the application specific for non-conforming expansion, and, you know, we were working on getting one specifically for businesses to try to get away from that generic application. So, I mean, it kind of, you know, it kind of amounts to maybe some new applications as well. Or the, you know, continuing the
That process.
process of having specific applications for, you know, specific things.
Yes, and like we started to go down that road, like John's saying.
Right.
We started to have, remember, I don't remember that game, and then what happened, what, did we get, something got shut us down on that one, I can't remember. Do you anybody remember what shut us down on that? Was it the select board? I almost thought.
No, I think we were underway, and then, you know, maybe just some other things came up, but, you know, you have your, I think it was maybe Jim. You may have been the one that really kind of put the finishing touches on the home occupation application.
Right,
See, we have a specific one for that.
yep,
We have a specific one for non-conforming expansion application, and then we have our subdivision sketch preliminary and final, and then we have the generic application. And that, those new businesses are falling under that generic application, and I almost think, you know, that there should be like a new business application.
Like, we could even call it like a new business application in the same building, right?
Right,
Or
new.
change
you
of
know,
business.
Change it, you know, change of business or new business in, you know, existing space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And sure, I mean, if there are things that go along with that business where they're going to be doing, you know, certain things on the property, then, you know, there will be, you know, restrictions in place depending on what it is that they're doing. But,
so would that be something with a new area of the ordinance system state that new businesses using his existing space would have to meet these few conditions or something. That'd be the way to
And then,
allow that.
and then creating a new application for it.
Yeah.
And then creating, some sort of a, a temporary type of, temporary business. And then, like Jerry said, look into what it is that Brunswick has for these food trucks. I know that Bath, I believe, is the same way. And, they pay a fee to the town. And I don't know how much more there is to it than that. I haven't actually looked into it myself, but this recent meeting that I had with this person kind of reminded me of that conversation that we'd had a while back.
All right, so we get the food truck, and then we'd have a new business, potentially like a new application for a new business in an existing location, or existing building, or
Yeah,
make it kind of, just like, what was the ones that we did a bunch? Like, there was there's been a few that we've done the same one.
like, where David Paquette used to own. I mean,
Yeah.
how many site plans do we have of that property? I mean, how many site plans do we need? I guess that's
Right.
kind of what I'm.
Yeah.
They did get better though as we, the further generations were better.
Yeah.
The last one we did for Podcasts was the guy that was making remember the urn, he took your ashes and compacted them, and then, remember that?
Well, no, yes, but the last one is the landscape.
Biodegradable urn.
You know, the
That's what it
landscape.
was.
Right, yeah, and then the landscape across.
And then the landscaper did the last. Yeah, that was
And
fun, yeah.
obviously, they're making changes to the property that's different.
Right,
you know,
right.
but-
But like, yeah. So we just have, we can talk about it next week when we do some research in the meantime, but like, it would boil down to, like, we'd have to have certain conditions to use that application would have to be met, like no major change, right?
Sounds good,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying, like, we'd have to have like some conditions so we could
Yeah,
choose them,
absolutely.
and make it easier for people to come do business. And make it more streamlined and kinda easier. Is there gonna be a town meeting in June? No? Like the annual town meeting?
I think it's is it May or June?
Hold on, Jerry, it is May 22nd, Thursday.
Yeah, so I don't think we'd make that one, you know.
And the public hearing for the town meeting is Tuesday, the 6th of May.
I don't know, it depends how quick we could get it together, then the town attorney has to review it, that's what
I
right?
think,
Yeah.
Maybe,
maybe what we're discussing now may end up not being an option, but I think the Chapter 1000 piece, Jim, is kind of a copy and paste, so
It should be,
that would be probably something that
yeah.
could get through.
all right,
Well, we could set up a separate workshop day for that, or just do it as part of a regular meeting.
yeah, we could probably do it as a regular meeting, we did some,
What looks like on the next agenda, I mean, do we have just one?
Well,
person coming
I'm
in?
going to assume that we're gonna see Kevin again with his preliminary,
Yeah,
and then we have a new business for a new truck at Trinket.
so.
So-
That's gonna be quick though.
And she should be, I sat and met with her the other day, gave her everything she needed. She comes prepared, that new business should be, I think, pretty straightforward, so it may not be a long drug out meeting, except for I'm almost positive that they will, Kevin didn't say the words, but I'm pretty sure we'll see him next month.
Yeah.
So, I
Okay.
mean, the last subdivision they did a few months ago, they did,
Yeah,
1,
yeah,
2, 3,
successive.
came right in.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
so
So
perhaps we
most
could we could talk about these ordinance changes at the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
regular
And-
meeting. Is that,
These people that Chuck talked to you about and myself about, we may see them as well. I don't know. So
Right.
it could be
Yeah.
three.
We'll take it as, I'm gonna do some research on the food truck ordinance,
okay,
and then I'm gonna find my chapter 1000. And then I think maybe everybody could just think of the new business, existing
Where do you think,
building.
where do you think it is, Jerry? How long is it gonna take you to find it? The chat going
I
down?
think I could find it, it's probably in my truck,
Yeah,
probably in my truck.
so we should review that chapter 1000 and see if we want to adopt that, and then that should be.
And we can try to pick out the
plug and
section,
play. Yeah,
hopefully that
Yeah.
Where to put it
Take a
in.
look at it and obviously compare it to the current expansion that's based on volume and square footage and,
It should be like a delete these paragraphs from the
Yeah.
code, from the, you know, and then
Yeah.
insert, you know, follow chapter, or just say follow
Yeah.
chapter 1000 DP.
Yeah, yeah, I'll look at it. Sound good. All right, so the next meeting is when?
It should be on Tuesday, April 8th. This is the second Tuesday of April.
Okay, well, we got a little homework. Good.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's been a slow few months, so
Yeah.
a little homework now.
We've been spoiled.
Yeah, we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled. Now that the weather's nice, we'll.
Be busy.
Right.
All right, so I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay,
All right.
Awesome.
we're adjourned.
We're good.
Good.